When I got back, I go to the first Val Hyrick meeting. My roommate, Ronald Devon Fife, is now the president of the social unit. So he gets up there in front of everybody, and he says, Doug Snarr is back. He has spent this last quarter back in Indianapolis going to a stuttering school to learn how to speak without stuttering. Of course, they all knew I stuttered. I just want you to all know that he doesn't stutter anymore. Pressure, pressure, pressure. Then he said, now we always begin with prayer, so Doug, would you offer the prayer? Oh, brother, I could have slugged him. I was just not ready for it. It was just so sudden-like and so quick. And this was quite a tipping point again. There's many tipping points in a lifetime. And I stood and was going to say this prayer, and I could just feel the speech block coming. And I knew that rather than to just fight it right then, what I ought to do is step back, and I just step back and say, well, listen, before I give the prayer, and I wanted to warm up, I want you all to know how excited I am to be back and to be amongst you. And I've really experienced a miracle, a wonderful miracle. And I'm glad to be back. And I talked a little bit, pointed a few guys out a little bit, good to see you, and so on, and et cetera, et cetera. And I just felt myself warming up until, bango, I was ready. Said the prayer. No problem. And so what I'm trying to explain is the process that I went through. It took time, a lot of time. And now, that's a miracle, what I went through. Now, in my patriarchal blessing, to quote one line from it, the Lord has been mindful of you, He has heard you, and He has healed you. The Lord didn't live my life for me. He directed me what I should do. And it was up to me to adapt and shift gears when common sense required. And it was a process, and it took years. But the whole point is I was on my way. Now, only story that I know of a absolute amazing miracle was Dr. Chase Peterson, the former president of the University of Utah. Perhaps Chase Peterson was as educated and as smart as any man practically in Utah's history. His father was the president of Utah State for nearly 30 years, so Chase grew up on the campus. Chase Peterson, when he got through his 8th grade, his parents had sent and applied for him to go to probably the most elite high school in the United States, which is in Massachusetts. And you have to be invited to go there. And by sending them the grades and everything, Chase didn't even know about this, that what came back that they had accepted him to enter into this was called Middlesex School. Well, but then Chase had to make the decision. Do I want to go or don't I want to go? He decided that he wanted to go. But after several days of giving it some real deep thought, because he's going to have to say goodbye, and he's out of there, new friends and everything else. He gets to Middlesex, but Chase is one of these guys that is so basically personable and friendly. It's just there, just part of him. He's just so refined, such an amazing man. Now, the reason I'm telling you this story is because I I met Chase Peterson at a birthday party. The birthday party was for Earl Holding, at the time Utah's wealthiest man. He had his 80th birthday, Earl did, and he invited all these people at the Grand America Hotel. And he had the Mormon Tabernacle Choir there. He had a orchestra there. It was amazing, and you were assigned seats. And so that when you came, there was someone there to take you to your assigned seat. So they had all these small round tables. And so when we arrived at our seat, there sat Chase Peterson and his wife Greta. So here's Carol and I, and we go through the introductions. And during the conversation, he asked me, well, now, what are you doing? And I said, well, I don't know whether you would want to know about me on to that extent. And I was hesitating. And he pressed me, oh, come on, please, tell me, what are you doing? I said, well, to tell you the truth, I'm writing a book on how to overcome adult stuttering. And I was asked to do this by the University of California of Irvine. Well, Greta spoke up and said, did you know that Chase used to stutter? And I said, no, I didn't. I said, this is amazing. Now tell me about your story, Chase. Well, Chase's story, which I think was rather interesting, was that he started to stutter in the 10th grade in high school. Now, when he had come home from a Middlesex school, like over the holidays and that, he didn't want his parents to know that he had the problem. So he avoided the telephone at all costs. If he wanted to talk to somebody, he'd go to a local payphone, drop in the money, and make the phone call. He hid the impediment from the parents and others as much as possible, but he developed this stuttering. So it can come at various times, and it's amazing. Now, he gets a scholarship to go to Harvard when he graduates. Now, he graduates as one of the most popular kids in the school. They loved him, and he was the only Mormon in the school. And now he's in Harvard. He reaches his sophomore year, and he knows that he's defeated. He knows he'll never be able to amount to very much in this life if I cannot talk. And the impediment is getting worse and worse and worse as time goes on. So he's having to drop out of being able to do all kinds of things in the classroom. He can't do it because he stutters. So in desperation, as he told the story to Carol and I at that birthday party for Earl Holding, he says, I was forced to my knees. And I approached it on the basis of, I don't know if you have anything planned for me, Lord. But if you do, stuttering will be a most inefficient way for me to proceed in fulfilling my purpose in this life. And from that, he asked the Lord if he would bless him, and so that he could go forth stutter-free. The next morning, it was gone. Now, I don't know of any miracle like that, nor have I heard of a miracle like that. So there are those who receive that kind of a blessing. That was not my case. I had to work and earn it every inch of the way. But I was taught what it would take to do it. And so in that, I was blessed. But it was such a wonderful feeling of knowing that I could do about anything I wanted to do within reason, but my voice and my speech would not inhibit me. I could do it. And so I moved forward. And I moved forward in a very aggressive way in my life.